You see them at the farmer's market, their horse-drawn buggies, a quiet contrast to the noisy traffic of our modern world. You see the women in their bonnets and the men with their instantly recognizable beards. They are our neighbors, living a life that seems frozen in a time long past. But do we truly understand their world? Beyond the bonnets and the buggies lies a complex society guided by a set of unwritten rules so different from our own, they can seem truly shocking. Today, we're looking at the Ordnung, the unwritten code that governs everything in Amish life. And it's important to remember, the Amish aren't one single group. There are dozens of affiliations, and the rules can vary a lot from one community to another. The Ordnung is all about preserving faith, family, and community by creating a deliberate separation from the outside world. We're about to show you 5 core Amish rules on technology, education, dating, and discipline that will challenge everything you thought you knew about your quiet neighbors. And the powerful beliefs behind them might just make you question our own way of life. Let's start with the one that defines their image, technology. The common belief is that the Amish are anti-technology, rejecting all modern inventions, but the truth is far more complex and, frankly, more interesting. The Amish don't see technology as inherently evil. Instead, they see it as a powerful force that has to be carefully filtered because their primary goal is preserving the family and community. The core question for any Amish community when a new technology appears is not, is it useful, but how will it affect us? Will it pull the family apart or bring it closer together? Will it encourage vanity or humility? This is why you won't find televisions, radios, or internet-connected computers in an old order Amish home. They're seen as pipelines to a worldly culture whose values are in direct opposition to their own. But here's where it gets interesting. It's not a blanket ban, it's a negotiation. The classic example is the telephone. The image many of us have is of a shared phone in a little wooden shanty at the edge of a property, and in some very traditional communities, that's still the case. A phone inside the house is seen as an intrusion that interrupts family life and pulls the outside world into the home. However, the reality today is more varied. Recognizing the need for business and emergencies, many communities now allow for landlines in a workshop or even basic cell phones for business use, though the rules are specific and tightly controlled. The same principle applies to electricity. They don't tap into the public power grid because it represents a connection to the outside world and an open invitation for any and all devices, but they do use electricity. It's not uncommon to see battery-powered lights on buggies or diesel generators to run equipment. Some even use solar panels to charge batteries. This isn't hypocrisy. It's a carefully managed system where they adopt technology that serves a purpose without threatening their core values. Rule number 2 is one that often draws sharp criticism. Formal education for Amish children typically ends after the 8th grade. To modern sensibilities, where higher education is seen as the key to success, this can seem incredibly restrictive. But for the Amish, this rule isn't about limiting a child. It's about preparing them for an intentional way of life. Amish education isn't anti-learning. It's just focused on different goals. From 1st to 8th grade, children attend school, often in a one-room schoolhouse run by the community. The teacher is usually a young unmarried woman from their own community. The curriculum focuses on reading, writing, and arithmetic, along with practical skills. The goal is to provide a solid foundation of knowledge needed to function as an adult within their society. The real education, in their view, starts after the 8th grade. This is when a child's learning moves from the classroom to the real world. Boys begin what is essentially a long-term apprenticeship with their fathers and other men, learning farming, carpentry, and other trades. Girls work with their mothers and other women, mastering the skills needed to run a household, from gardening and food preservation to sewing and childcare. This system was so central to their way of life that it led to a landmark Supreme Court case. In 1972, Wisconsin v. Yoder ruled that Amish parents had the right to pull their children from public school after the 8th grade, recognizing that forcing them into high school would violate their religious freedoms. From the outside, we might see a world of missed opportunities. But from the inside, high school and college are seen as environments that promote values contrary to their way of life: individualism, competition, and intellectual pride. Their educational system is designed for community stability, not upward mobility. It asks not, "What can you achieve for yourself?" but "What can you contribute to us?" You're finding this look into a world so different from our own as fascinating as we do. Take a second to support our channel. Hit that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications. We have so many more hidden worlds to uncover together, and your support makes it all possible. Now, let's get back to the rules that shape Amish life. In our modern world, dating is a landscape of endless options. Now, imagine a world where none of that exists. Welcome to the world of Amish courtship, where our third shocking rule is simple: there is no such thing as casual dating. For the Amish, courtship is a serious process with one singular goal: finding a lifelong partner for marriage. It's not for fun or experimentation. The process typically begins when young people are in their late teens. So how do they meet? The main social event for young, unmarried Amish is the Sunday night singing. After the formal church service, the young people gather to sing hymns, and the atmosphere is social. If a boy is interested in a girl, he might offer her a ride home in his buggy. If she accepts, they may begin courting. Dates often consist of the boy visiting the girl's home, where they might talk for hours in the family living room, often with a degree of privacy after her parents have gone to bed. Now, what about physical affection? This is one of the most misunderstood areas. The idea that there is absolutely no holding hands or kissing is an oversimplification. While sexual intimacy is strictly forbidden, the rules on milder forms of affection can vary significantly from one community to another. Some are very strict, while others are more relaxed. An old and often misunderstood tradition called bundling, where a courting couple might lie in bed together fully clothed, is a historical practice that is rare and controversial today, not a common custom. Parental approval is crucial. While marriages are not arranged, a couple would not proceed without the blessing of both families. The entire process is embedded within the community. The Amish prioritize spiritual alignment and commitment, believing that love grows after the vows are made, within the security of marriage. In a world where our clothing is a canvas for self-expression, imagine being told what to wear every single day. Our fourth shocking rule governs one of the most visible aspects of Amish life: their plain dress. For the Amish, clothing is a public symbol of their submission to God and the community. The guiding principle is humility and a rejection of vanity. While bright, flashy colors like red or orange are generally avoided, the idea that all clothing is dark and drab is not quite right. Many communities accept deep, solid colors like blue, green, and purple. Clothing is meant to be functional and modest. Women wear solid colored dresses with long sleeves, a high neckline, and a cape and apron to conceal their form. These are often fastened with pins, as zippers are avoided and buttons are sometimes seen as too ornamental, though this too varies. Perhaps the most recognizable symbols are the head coverings for women and beards for men. Women wear a prayer covering, or cap, at all times. It's often said that the color of a woman's bonnet signals her marital status, but this rule is tricky because it's the opposite in different communities. In many Old Order groups, single women wear a black covering to church, while married women wear a white one. But in other groups, the color coding is reversed. For men, a beard is a requirement for every married man, symbolizing his adult status. Mustaches, however, are strictly forbidden because of their historical association with the military, and the Amish are devout pacifists. Jewelry, including wedding rings, is completely forbidden as a sign of vanity. To a modern observer, this can feel like a suppression of individuality. The Amish, however, use their plain clothing to say, "This is who we are." It's a uniform of humility designed to promote equality. Our fifth rule is the most controversial and for many outsiders the hardest to understand. It is the practice of midong, or shunning. This is the community's ultimate form of discipline, a social excommunication that can sever even the closest family ties. It's crucial to understand that shunning does not apply to those who simply decide not to join the church. A young person who chooses not to be baptized is free to leave. Shunning is reserved for those who have made the adult decision to be baptized and then later betray that vow by leaving the faith or committing a serious violation of the ordning. When a member is placed under the ban, the community practices a form of social avoidance. This can mean they cannot eat at the same table, do business with, or accept gifts from the shunned person. However, the severity of shunning varies significantly between communities. Some districts practice milder forms, while others are much stricter. The harshest forms, where even a spouse might be required to cease marital relations, are not the norm everywhere. To modern sensibilities, this practice seems cruel. For those who are shunned, the experience is undoubtedly devastating. So why do they do it? From the Amish perspective, shunning is not an act of hate, but a biblically based act of tough love. Its goal is twofold. First, to protect the purity of the church, and second, to bring the person to repentance so they can return to the community. The door is always open for the shunned person to come back, but they must confess and recommit to the church. This rule underscores the profound seriousness of the baptismal vow, a lifelong promise to God and the church.
Level rings.
5 windows into a world that operates on a completely different set of principles, a world where technology is filtered to protect the family, where education is for community, not career, where romance is a sacred path to a lifelong covenant, where clothing is a statement of humility, and where discipline, even at its most severe, is seen as an act of love meant to save a soul. It's easy to look at these rules and see only what is forbidden. But for the Amish, these rules aren't about restriction, they're about preservation. They are the framework that supports a life of deep community, unwavering faith, and separation from a world they believe is moving too fast. Their world isn't a perfect utopia, but it is a testament to the power of intentional living. Their choices force us to hold up a mirror to our own society. So we'll leave you with this thought. What's one value from the Amish way of life, be it simplicity, community, or discipline, that our modern world could learn from? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into the cultures that challenge our own, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.